Pragg picks up the third pawn in the position, and this will be a convert, and Vincent wants none of it. He resigns. Pragg on fire, 3 out of 3.
3 out of 3 for Pragg, none but 2 games still in play. Let's go to the game between Arjun Erigaisi or Timur. Let's go to Timur Radjabov versus Nodirbek Abdusattorov. These choices are difficult. Black's king is on e3. Will Radjabov also go to 0 out of 3?
Wow, Raja, I mean, anything can happen. It's a game for 3 result. That king in the center of the board, the f4 square, can actually get checkmated if you're not careful.
That's true, and we see that Radjabov goes after the e6 pawn, queen h4, both sides making mistakes. That's the nature of Blitz for you.
Look at the panic on them, Robert. Both of them are so shaky right now.
I'm shaky. I'm not even playing, but I feel nervous for them. And he goes bishop to d5.
Oh my god, I would be scared for that king.
Wait, don't king d4.
King d4, queen f2 was game over.
So he goes back, and then the white queen steals the g6 pawn. It feels like suddenly black's pawns are falling off the board, but b3 is loose. That's the good news for Nodirbek, is he can give himself an outside pass pawn at some moment.
That's his only hope, and he does it. And I have the feeling that the B pawn is strong enough to compensate for the 2 connected passes on the king side. Look how advanced it is. All you need to do is get back with the bishop and start pushing it. But are they going to just repeat? Nodirbek going for the win.
And queen b6 check. He trades the queens, but this pawn is very hard to stop. White's pawn is just running up the board. The good news is if black can take the g2 pawn and the king gets the other side, it's the wrong colored bishop at the very worst.
But nice move there, stopping h5, and you can start pushing your own
bishop
pawns
c2.
Now. Is black winning now?
Oh, what a move, bishop c2, because white can't take this bishop because the pawn will go.
But look at the tension now. You can't push the pawn because white takes the bishop.
This is so unclear because both sides may have to take at some point. Like right now, bishop takes on g6, pawn takes b2, g7, b1, g8. We both get queens. That is what's happening.
It's happening. As you're calling it out, it is on the board. And Robin, I think this will end in a draw after this madness that we're seeing. Radjabov offering a repeat, but is Nodirbek going to get ambitious?
I don't think he can because his king is too out in the open. Sometimes you get your pass pawn. He's Nodirbek Abdusattorov. He does not just make draws without clawing his way to the very last moves.
Nodirbek going for it. He says, no draws. You've got to earn every half point against me. Look at that. Don't trade the queens. The black pawn is way closer to queening than the white pawn.
And he does not trade queens. The king can move with check. It's not scary. There's no checkmate just yet. But don't play into a queen f2. You have to be very careful. He gives the queen check first. Tanya, I love black's king on e3.
This is getting scary for white. Look at the coordination between the queen and the king to assist that pawn from getting to that queening square.
And here the king goes up. The pawn can be pushed next. And Timur's doing the right thing. He's giving a bunch of checks. He cannot push his g pawn up the board. It's too slow.
He just has to survive the check somehow. Find a safe spot for the king. Where does he hide?
I think that he's going to go king f2 because if you check on a7, pawn goes to e3.
But you can check on f6.
Ah, that's a good one. And if king e2, queen a6, so the queen just darts around the board. And you can see Nodirbek, look at his posture. He's making moves that kind of slapping the clock a little bit. He wants to find a safe square for his king.
He knows he's so close. It's just about getting that e-pawn one step ahead. But Timur, he's not giving him the chance.
No, he's not. The king goes back to f4. It is safe there. There will be no checkmate.
Queen f8.
Queen of 8, he's just giving the checks. As long as you say, queen of 8, queen over here, keep giving the checks. But Nodirbek's trying to run with his king. And Tanya, my question is this. We're on move 101. Will this go longer than 173 moves?
Will this be the new longest game of the Tata Steel Chess India? Nodirbek is going to take this down to the wire. Timur will have to fight for that draw. You can't push the e-pawn because the queen is still pinned.
But this does give some checks against the white king. Not right now. Queen d3. He really wants to push this pawn.
Queen d6 will be a draw, so it's not a great time to trade.
That's right. Nodirbek does not want to draw here. He's playing for a win. This king is just running around the board. G5. Look at this by Timur. He keeps pinning the pawn.
And now the pawn moves forward.
Uh-oh.
This is getting tricky.
And look at Timur. He's got his hand on his head. He's
Robert,
good.
You want to make a side bet? This will be a decisive game.
You think it's going to be decisive? I think Timur will hold it.
Oh my gosh, I don't know which way, but I think it's going to be decisive. Look at that. He's going for the checks. Timur really trying to get that draw in.
And queen c2, if you take it, black will queen first. So there's queen h1 check, queen d1. You still don't trade. You bring the queen right back.
And now he continues with the checks.
Oh. This is so close, but you give a check. The king, unfortunately, can't escape to f2, if you're thinking from Nodirbek's perspective. So Raja's doing the right thing.
And he's playing moves with 3 seconds on the clock. That's just a 2-second increment. This is madness.
Yeah, barely getting the moves off the players. Now down to about 8 seconds for white, 6 for black. And what to do here? There's no more checks. There's no check against the black king.
And the queen from c3 defends g7, you can't push the g pawn.
Oh my goodness, the king goes back. The pawn is one square away from promotion.
Oh my god!
Queen c6. He picks up the g pawn.
But then the king will not have defense. Can you pick up the g6 pawn?
But
you have time.
He's doing a smart thing. He's not taking it just yet. So he's waiting to do it.
Look at the body language. He knows it. He picks it up with a check.
He found a way to take a check, and the king can safely slide over to f1. Where's the queen check coming from? You were right. It's going to be a win for Nodirbek Abdusattorov.
That is the 2021 World Rapid Champion, the youngest ever World Rapid Champion, and he's done it.
He is doing it right now. Where does he go? The queen e3. And then he finds it. That is super precise because the white king can't approach the pawn anymore. Now his king slides to g1. There are no checks.
No check. You go queen b1 and e1, and that is it. It's game over. Nodirbek wins.
What a finish to that round. It was 133 moves of intense endgame action, and Abdusattorov, his persistence, it pays off, and he gets a win. And Tanya, on the flip side, Radjabov and MVL down to 0 out of 3.
And they were the star players of the Rapid. But that game, that conversion that we just saw, that was some top-class Blitz action. I can't believe what we just witnessed, Robert.
But you called it. You said that Nodirbek was going to win the game.
Did you see the determination on him? He was sitting there, avoiding the repetition, and it was clear that he had the win in his mind, one way or the other, but making it a reality. What intense action.
Oh my goodness, and there are other decisive games. Look at that, 4 in total of this round. Alexander Grishuk, he continues to go under the radar. I keep saying it, and I still am not looking at his games. He beat Gukesh with black. We saw a draw between Arjun and Hari. Vidit, he gets his revenge against Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. And look at these standings right here. One person's alone at the top. That is Pragg and Grishuk. At 2 and 3, he's right there behind him.
He's right there. He's the 3-time World Blitz champion, and Pragg, what a start he's had. Can he keep up the momentum? And he was your pick, but for me, Nodirbek with that win, converting it against a top-class player like Teimour Radjabov, that was the game of the day so far.
And look at Radjabov down at the bottom of the standings with Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. These were the top 2 finishers in the Rapid. The Blitz is a whole different story.